What are we discussing on today's Locked on Diamondbacks podcast? D-backs set the tone in game number 1 against the LA Dodgers, but can their free agent pitchers step up the rest of the series and deliver a huge series win?
You are Locked on Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked on Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. You're listening to who? The always charismatic host of this podcast, Millard Thomas, multimedia journalist, and I'm a graphic designer. So please go check out my website, millardthomas24.myportfolio.com. There you can see all my latest work, from my packages to my articles to my photos and my graphic design. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox, no console needed. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. On today's Locked on Diamondbacks podcast, we're going to be discussing this D-backs versus Dodgers series. D-backs setting the tone in game number 1, but can their free agent pitchers step it up the rest of the way and deliver a huge series win for Arizona? And then, of course, it's Mailbag Friday, so answering your guys' submitted questions on today's Locked on Diamondbacks podcast. Of course, remember, you can always submit your questions on social media at CareerThomas24 for my personal account. Look up Locked on Diamondbacks, both Twitter and Instagram, for the podcast handle. Don't forget as well to hit subscribe to Locked on Diamondbacks on YouTube, because I would not be able to do this podcast without you, my loyal listeners. Thank you for making Locked on Diamondbacks your first listen every day. Please continue to follow me on social media. Please continue to follow and subscribe on YouTube. But now let's get into the podcast. All right, here on the Locked on Diamondbacks podcast, now let's discuss this D-backs versus Dodgers series a little bit, because D-backs came out swinging in game number 1, set the tone early for this series by stealing that game against the Dodgers, because, of course, the vibes right now surrounding Arizona are not the best when we've seen how they've played a lot of these teams recently. But in at least game number 1, you had Brandon Pfaadt and Gabriel Moreno stepping up in big ways. Brandon Pfaadt is the guy that we probably trust the most from what we've seen this season. Merrill Kelly's making a strong case. But if you told someone, or if you told me, if you asked me, who's the D-back starter you would put the most money on FanDuel if you had a wager to go 6 innings in a start, Brandon Pfaadt would probably be my answer. He's the most consistent guy on this D-backs team at eating innings. And sometimes that's something you say about a pitcher when they're not that good. You just say, oh, they're an innings eater. He might have a 4.5 ERA, but at least you'll get 180 innings out of him. No, Brandon Pfaadt is a guy who always saves the bullpen, can eat a ton of innings, but is also good. Like we saw in game number 1, 6.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs against that Dodgers lineup, which we know is absolutely loaded. The top of the lineup, everyone got hits. But Brandon Pfaadt, well, he only gave up 4 of the hits, but Brandon Pfaadt was able to shut down that loaded Dodgers lineup and show everyone, you know what, this year 3 by him is a potential breakout year. And I think we could start taking the word potential out of it, because when you do what he did against the Dodgers, a quality start, leaves with a 3.28 ERA, this is a fantastic season so far for Pfaadt, and love the way he came out swinging in game number 1. Also love the way Gabby Moreno was, of course, swinging 3 for 4, had the grand slam. Hopefully that could be the catalyst for the rest of his season. But the D-backs are going to need their starters in this series to match what Brandon Pfaadt did. He just laid down the blueprint to shutting down the LA Dodgers. And now we're going to need this D-backs pitching staff to do the same. We know the Dodgers like to spend money in the offseason. We've seen that a ton with the Otanis and the Snells and the Yamamotos, and the guys go on and on. But recently, the D-backs have also liked to spend money. When you look at the Scrooge Index, which takes the payroll of each team, the revenue you make, and how much of that revenue do you put back into your payroll, Dodgers and D-backs, despite them not making the same revenue, they both take the same percentage of their revenue and put it back in their payroll. So they both spend at the same rate relative to what they make. And so because of that, we've seen the D-backs spend some money the last couple of off seasons as well, specifically on their pitching staff to shut down the lineup of what we've seen from the LA Dodgers. They were signed for series like this. Erod, 4 years, $80 million. Huge contract, $20 million annually, just in case if we need to break it down a little bit further. Corbin Burns, 6 years, 210, highest contract given out in D-backs franchise history. That is pressure. That means we have expectations for you of the highest level in a series against a NL West rival who we absolutely hate, who we still feel like, even though we took them out in 2023, we still always have to prove ourselves to them. Corbin Burns stepping up, Erod stepping up, two of our free agent pitchers that we have spent so much money on. We need to see the return on the investment in this series and moving forward as well. But this would be a nice starter series to start getting some early returns on our investments, right? Some dividends from our investments, because both of these guys, when you actually look at their career numbers against the Dodgers, not the best and a little bit concerning when looking at this series. Erod, he has a 6 ERA in 24 innings pitched against the Dodgers. Corbin Burns, he has a 5.4 ERA in 30 innings pitched against the Dodgers. Betts, Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman are 9 for 26 in their career against Corbin Burns. And then the entire lineup of the Dodgers has a 329 average and an 895 OPS against Erod. And so, I mean, Freeman is 6 for 25. Ohtani's only 3 for 13. Betts is 2 for 7. They were former teammates back in the Red Sox, but a lot of this lineup, like a guy like Kike Hernandez, 5 for 11 in his career against Erod. Erod has been crushed by a lot of these players on this Dodgers lineup. So the stats historically are concerning for both Corbin Burns and Erod. Don't like the numbers that we see coming into this series, but also at the same time, this is a series where both of those guys can rewrite their history against the LA Dodgers, start showing, we know from this season we need to see a little bit more from both Erod and Corbin Burns. Erod has shown flashes. He's been a good, strikeout machine at times this year, but he still has an ERA north of 5. Corbin Burns, the numbers traditionally on the peripheral, they look fine. A 3.5 ERA this season, a lot of quality starts, but again, like we always say on this podcast, he just hasn't impressed us. He just hasn't wowed us. And if he, at Chase Field, defends home turf against the team we hate the most and he delivers us a victory en route to a series win, it would mean a lot to D-backs fans moving forward. So hopefully this could be a series where we see the D-backs free agent pitchers step up in a huge way against that vaulted Dodgers lineup. Now we'll answer your guys' questions in segment number 2. But hey, I first want to talk to you guys about Trade Coffee, because let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a lifeline, the thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And if it's essential, why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the US, delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour over purist, they've got a roast you'll love. I just got my Trade Coffee in the mail. I've been cooking it up. It's been absolutely delicious. I even like it as like a little pre-workout to, get my juice and my energy going right before the gym. So if you like coffee, please, right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. For your 1-month trial, drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. And also, did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe, or sign into your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. So please go get this. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd generation. All right, let's get back to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Let's answer some listener submitted questions now on our little Mailbag Friday. The first one is from Serpientes Forever. Said, thoughts on the new Dbacks City Connects jerseys? This is why I wanted to wait before I gave my official opinion. I want to wait to see the official jerseys because we've seen the leaks from the jerseys and they're pretty much what we've seen from the leaks, but at the same time, we had to wait because the most important thing is the name across the jersey. And before it said Arizona and kind of that old school font. Now it's back to that Serpientes font we love. And that is the most critical thing about the jersey. The Serpientes is back across the front. That is the only thing I care about. I love that logo patch mark. And the fact that it's back on the new City Connect jersey makes me so happy. The only issue I have with the jersey, just a little bit, is again the sleeves. I know D-backs fans love the vest look. I don't understand why. Arizona fans are the only baseball fans I know that like the vest look. I just wish the torso matched the sleeves. It's not as jarring as like the old school D-backs uniforms. I just wish it was more uniform and more flush, bled a little bit more seamlessly, but I like the colors. I do not mind them at all. I think the purple is strong. I love the teal. I think it plays with the purple. Does the jersey give a little bit of like vibe from what the Phillies have done the last couple of years? Maybe a little bit in like that softball realm. Maybe, but I think the fact that they went to the Serpientes word mark instead of like it saying Arizona or like a funky font that said a word is better. Is not as good. I think that would have looked more jarring and gave it more of a softball feel if they did. If it said like Arizona and like that Philly font. I think the fact that it says Serpientes gives it that City Connect feel and makes it feel more like a baseball jersey. I love the colors. I think the purple really pops on the jersey. I think the snake on the hat that's teal really pops as well. I think the jersey is strong, and I cannot wait to see it in person against the LA Dodgers. Well, I guess not in person because I won't be there, but you know what? Maybe I will be at a game soon. We'll see, but I can't wait to see the jersey when I'm in person eventually at one of these upcoming games. Next one is from Tori Y with 4 Ys. He said, Is it a good idea for the D-backs to go to a 6-man rotation? Because this has been a rumor that has been floating around recently with Torey Lovello just said he's conferring with the other managers about going to a potential 6-man rotation. Says he wants to give the rotation a little bit more rest, the starters an extra day or two if they could do that, especially Ryan Nelson coming off a pretty good outing, can stretch him out a little bit more. We know he was very good last season. Like maybe a 6-man rotation is what this D-backs team needs to get the best out of Ryan Nelson. But for me, I would not do it because I don't think you'll get the best out of your bullpen by going to a 6-man rotation. This D-backs bullpen is already weak. Justin Martinez is hurt. He finally started his throwing program, but he's not ready yet. AJ Puck, we know, is going to be out a while. When the bullpen is weak, you can't go to a 6-man rotation because then you're thinning the bullpen even more. Now you're trusting other guys who we already don't trust to come in big situations. Yes, I like Ryan Nelson a lot, but I also like him as a long reliever when we see these other starters start to struggle a little bit. Plus, like we were talking about in segment number 1, we are paying this rotation a lot of money. Erod, Corbin Burns, if you're not getting paid a lot of money, you want to get paid a lot of money. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, only a month into the season. This is my problem with the D-backs leadership. who seems to care about saving guys and saving for wins in the back end of the season instead of trying to get wins right now in front of them. If this is just about rest, it's too early in the year to worry about rest. I know Corbin Burns just got a cortisone shot and is dealing with some shoulder inflammation. I don't care. It's too early in the season to worry about rest. If your pitcher can't go 180 innings in a season and needs to be in a six-man rotation, maybe you should get yourself a new starting pitcher. And so I do not like this idea. I think we coddle our players way too much in sports, and I think the D-backs coddle their players way too much. These guys need to build up their bodies. I think we overrest, overmanage players at times. Sometimes you need to play through your injuries to a degree. Sometimes you have to build your body up. You can't always sit down with every knick-knack injury. I think for the D-backs, we're sitting players before we even get to the knick-knack. We're sitting them just to sit them. And to me, that makes absolutely no sense. So I would not move to the six-man rotation because I do not think the bullpen is deep enough to warrant a six-man rotation. And it's too early in the season to start resting your best guys. And then the next one that I'm going to answer before we wrap up segment number 2. This is from Moreno Truther. Could last night have been the catalyst for Gabby Moreno's 2025 season? Love this question because entering the year, I thought Gabby Moreno had a great chance to finish top 10 in WRC plus among catchers in the National League. So far, that has not happened, but I do think there is a case for Moreno's season to get better and turn around because a lot of the advanced numbers still really like what Gabby has done this year, and they think he is going to turn it around because you look at his numbers on fastballs. He's batting 250 on fastballs, but his expected average is 347. His slug is 386, but his expected slug is 542. So he's expected to be doing a lot better than he currently is when you look at his numbers against the fastball. And that's interesting because his expected batting average is in the 90th percentile. He's expected to do way better than what a lot of players are doing with his opportunities. His average exit velocity is in the 91st percentile, hard hit percentage, 87th percentile, squared up percentage, 91st percentile. Like the hard contact stats are there, the advanced expected stats are there. Like the underlying numbers tell you Gabby's having a good season. His approach to the plate is good. He is just not getting the results. He's hitting the ball hard. They're just not finding the gaps. And sometimes you see seasons where you make that argument the whole year. I think we've done that a lot for like Carson Kelly in the past, where we're like, look at the advanced stats. They're really good. The hard contact stats are really good. And then just never turns around. So could Gabby Moreno be the next Carson Kelly, where it's a lot of hypotheticals, looking at a lot of the advanced numbers and then never matching up? Maybe, but I think Gabby has flashed enough for us. And we know when Gabby's right, this offense feels like it goes to another level. So I still believe in Moreno. And I do think he'll start to pick it up by the end of the 2025 season. Now we'll answer more of your guys, the listener submitted questions in segment number 3. FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. My favorite thing to do on FanDuel is the same game parlay. When I see the Phoenix Suns are playing, I'll take KD over on points. I'll take Booker over on points, and then give me the opponent's money line. I'm sorry, Suns fans, but that's what you got to do if you want to win some money. If you want to win some money, up to $200 of bonus bets, just put down $5. And if your bet wins, you get all that money in your pocket. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Back here on the Locked on D-backs podcast. Now let's finish up the pod by wrapping up your guys' questions. This one is from I Love Baseball. Is it dumb? This is the first series against a NL West opponent. I don't think it's dumb. I do think it's a little weird that it's taking like 40 games before we play a division opponent. It probably should be a little bit more balanced because we're probably going to feel like we're playing the Dodgers, Giants, Padres, or Rockies like every other week for the rest of the season because they're going to stack them all together. But for the most part, I always contend I really don't care about how much we play the division. To me, the biggest thing we still need when it comes to the MLB scheduling is playing all the teams both home and home. That's what I want to see. I want to see back when Otani played for the Angels. It's cool that he now comes to Arizona every other year, but why can't I get a game in Anaheim and then the Angels come to Chase Field within the same season? I still don't understand how you could play 162 games and not do a home and home for every team in the sport. That is still the biggest thing that baseball is missing out on. When you talk about growing the game, when you talk about marketing and all this, I still think the biggest reason baseball struggles to grow is because depending on doesn't even depend on where you live. Not every baseball fan can see every player in a calendar year. I think that really matters. I think the fact that back in the day, we're finally starting to have it now where you see every team every year. But think about how insane it is for a baseball fan to have to wait 3 or 4 years before they see a guy from, the opposite league. When talking about growing your game, LeBron James for the NBA is going to every city like 2 to 4 times a season. You're going to have a chance. Yes, he might hurt. Yes, NBA players like to sit out, but at least you're going to have a chance to see the top guys a couple times every single year. Baseball fans used to have to wait years to see a guy once during the season. You're going to have one series during the year every, 4 years. It's like FIFA where you could potentially see those players and see that team. I still think it's a huge thing holding back baseball, holding back the marketing, holding back from growing the game. And people just don't want to admit it. People just don't want to talk about it. They care too much about division alignment and keeping it pure and sanctity. I still know baseball folks that are upset with the universal DH. I don't understand why. Baseball fans are the only fans I know that want to keep the two leagues like separate, almost like they're playing two different sports. They need to be more integrated. I'm fine if we even got rid of divisions. I don't care. If we want to keep them, sure, I'm okay keeping them as well. But we need to open up our mind a little bit more when it comes to being a baseball fan because I think it's insane. People are okay with not seeing every player in a calendar year because I am not. The next question is not from this one's not submitted by AZ Snake Pit, but I saw they had a question on their website and I actually want to answer it. They said, is this year's D-backs team better than last year's? I want to answer this question because when they went through the article, you could look at it. They make a great case because all the numbers point to 2025. The record points to 2025. D-backs started 20-18 this season. Last year, they started 18-20. Statistically, the offense is way better this year compared to last year. The pitching, rotation-wise, seems better this year compared to last season because we also had some injuries in the first half of the year. I think watching this year's team through the first 40 games compared to last year, you could say this team is better. But at the same time, the vibes are similar, and that's my biggest issue. It's not that statistically and on paper we are better than last year. It's the fact that we are better than last year, but from a vibe perspective, we still feel the same. We're still blowing games via poor management from the bullpen, poor bullpen management, I should say, some terrible defense, guys not stepping up in the clutch with runners in scoring position, not getting those timely hits, not getting those shutdown innings, like a lot of the issues that prevented the D-backs from going to the postseason last year. Feel like they could potentially stop the D-backs from going to the postseason again in 2025, and that is what irks me because I do believe this team is better than last year's team, but I don't think the process is any different. The results are the same. The process isn't any different, and even though we're more talented, it does not matter if you do not change your habits. And so I have not been a huge fan from what I've seen from the D-backs in 2025, but I still have hope and belief it can turn around this season. And then the final question I got is from Jerry23. He said, can Geraldo Perdomo finish as an MVP candidate? I thought it was a little crazy at first, even though Perdomo was having a great season. I thought, yeah, maybe an all-star, but an MVP candidate? I don't know about that. If we're going to have an MVP candidate, it's probably going to be Corbin Carroll. But then I looked at Baseball Reference, and I had to do a double take because I would have told you Corbin Carroll had the best chance on the D-backs to finish as the MVP candidate, but I think Perdomo might have just as strong of a case, potentially, depending on which numbers you care about. Because total bases, Corbin Carroll leads the league. He's number one in triples. He's second in runs scored. Like, Corbin Carroll definitely has a case to be made. He's fifth in OPS, so it's not like Corbin Carroll doesn't have a case. But Perdomo actually kind of have a case too. When you look at Baseball Reference, if you care about Baseball Reference WAR, Perdomo is fourth. Excuse me. Yeah, he's fourth in WAR among all players in the National League at 2.1 on Baseball Reference WAR. If you go by offensive WAR in the National League, Geraldo Perdomo is number 3, which I thought was a little bit crazy because I did not think he was going to be that high. You look at RBIs, Perdomo is 6 as well. And so this is a guy who is extremely valued right now by WAR, by Baseball Reference. Perdomo is considered a super valuable player in Major League Baseball. Plus, he has a 293 average and a over 850 OPS. So statistically, I think he does have a case. We know he's a heartbeat for this D-backs team. We know he's a real leader in the clubhouse. And so I definitely think Geraldo Perdomo could be an MVP candidate for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, that's it for this edition of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Come back next week for more Diamondbacks news coverage and insight. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Doses.